Today we'll pay a visit to the world of percussion, and specifically drums, all kinds of drums, the instruments that set the tempo. Welcome to Musical Minutes. I'm your host, Hans Manship. Join me as we search for the beat. The drum is fundamentally a membranophone, a hollow shell, wood, clay, or metal, with a stretched membrane that vibrates when struck. This simplicity has made drums accessible to all early societies. Archaeology places the earliest drums at 6000 BC in Moravia, made from hollow tree trunks with reptile or fish skin drum heads. China provides evidence of alligator skin drums around 5500 BC. These early drums were used for ritual and spiritual practices, communication across distances, and synchronizing group labor. Before writing, drums served as long-distance messaging tools. African talking drum systems transmitted coded language over miles. Large drums signaled danger, gatherings, or royal announcements. Drums have directed armies for thousands of years in ancient Asia and European battlefields. Rope tension field drums guided troop movements through the 1700s into the American Civil War. Japanese taiko drums were used to intimidate enemies and coordinate formations. Drums unified communities, West African djembe ceremonies, Celtic gatherings with the buran, Indian weddings with the dole, and indigenous rituals worldwide. Their rhythmic pulse synchronized group movement and emotions. Drums often accompanied myths, dance dramas, and epic recitations. Later innovations included double-headed drums, metal shells, and industry-era mass production. Across cultures, drums served as musical instruments, communication devices, symbols of authority, ritual objects, and tools for healing and trance. Drums are not just instruments, they are cultural technologies that shaped human society. Let's look at some individual drums. The djembe is a goblet-shaped West African drum with deep historical, social, and spiritual importance. Originating among the Mandinka-Manding peoples of Mali, Guinea, Senegal, and the Ivory Coast, it emerged around the 12th to 13th century during the Mali Empire and is closely tied to the Nuama blacksmith caste, who carved its hardwood shell and prepared its goatskin heads. The Bamana name, djembe, translates "everyone gathered together in peace," reflecting its role as a unifying community instrument. Culturally, the djembe is central to ceremonies, rites of passage, weddings, funerals, and communal celebrations, where its rhythms guided dancers, supported storytellers, and helped maintain oral history. Its sound served as a gathering signal across villages. In the 20th century, master drummers carried the djembe onto global stages, transforming it into one of the world's most recognized African instruments while preserving its spiritual and cultural roots. The pellet drum, best known in Japan as the denden daiko, is a small double-sided rattle drum played by twisting the handle so that two pellets on strings strike the drum heads in rapid alternation. Though often seen today as a children's toy, it's actually part of a very old family of Asian ritual and folk instruments. Its design is simple but ingenious. A tiny circular double-sided drum mounted on a stick with pellets that create a rhythmic chatter when the drum is spun. This allows even a small instrument to produce a surprisingly energetic percussive sound. This makes it ideal for storytelling, dance accompaniment, and festive street performances. Historically, pellet drums originated in ancient China, where they were used in temple rituals, court ceremonies, and theatrical performances. From there, they spread across East and Central Asia, eventually becoming a familiar instrument in Japan, Korea, Tibet, and India. In Japan, the denden daiko became associated with Shinto festivals, folk celebrations, and children's New Year traditions, symbolizing good fortune and the turning of the year. Its rhythmic clatter was believed to drive away bad spirits and attract blessings, echoing older ritual uses of noise-making instruments. In Tibetan and Indian traditions, related pellet drums appeared in Buddhist and Hindu rituals, where their repetitive sound supports chanting and trance. Today, the pellet or denden daiko drum remains a symbol of joy, protection, and cultural continuity, bridging ancient ritual practice with modern folk culture and children's celebrations. I purchased this one on the island of Curacao. African talking drums are hourglass-shaped, squeezable tension cord drums, originating among the West African cultures and dating back at least 1,000 years. When the drummers press the cords under the arm, the drum head tightens or loosens, raising or lowering the pitch. This allows the drum to mimic the tonal patterns of African languages. Skilled drummers memorized complex drum languages into rhythmic formulas. In the royal courts, talking drummers announced the lineage and achievement of kings. In villages, they relayed news, summoned gatherings, and accompanied dances, rituals, and storytelling. Their role extended into warfare, where they coordinated troop movements or signaled danger. Culturally, the talking drum is a symbol of authority, memory, and identity. Today, the talking drum remains both a living communication art and a powerful cultural icon across West Africa. The wooden African tongue drum is a slit drum whose voice comes from carefully carved wooden tongues that vibrate when struck. Found across Central, West, and East Africa, they've been used for communication, ritual, and storytelling for thousands of years. Each slit creates a tongue of different length and thickness, producing distinct pitches. The instrument bridges rhythm and melody in a way few drums can. Historically, wooden tongue drums served multiple and cultural roles. They transmitted coded rhythms between villages long before written language. Others invoked ancestors, marked rites of passage, or supported mask dances. Their carved surfaces often carried symbolic motifs, linking the drum to clan identity, spiritual protection, or mythic stories. Musically, the African tongue drum provides a soft, resonant, meditative sound that's both rhythmic and melodic. In the 20th and 21st centuries, its design inspired modern steel tongue drums, but the wooden originals remain deeply tied to African communal life, communication traditions, and spiritual practice. I made mine from African patterns. The Indian oktara, meaning one string, is a simple yet powerful drone lute used across North and East India, especially in devotional, folk, and bardic traditions. Though often called a drum, it's technically a plucked monochord built on a resonating drum-like body, usually a dried gourd or coconut shell, covered with animal skin. Bamboo arms pass through the shell, and one string runs along its length. When the player squeezes the bamboo, the pitch bends dramatically, giving the aktara its distinctive wavering sound. Historically, it was used to accompany spiritual songs, praise poetry, and moral tales. Its single string is said to symbolize unity, the oneness of the divine, and the simplicity of the spiritual path. Musically, the Aktara provides a steady drone or rhythmic pulse, anchoring devotional singing. Across India, it remains a symbol of folk identity, spiritual sincerity, and musical minimalism, a reminder that a single vibrating string can carry centuries of devotion, storytelling, and cultural memory. I found mine in New Delhi, India. Wooden bongos are a pair of small, open-bottomed Afro-Cuban drums whose bright cutting voice helped define the sound of Cuban son, salsa, and Latin jazz. Traditionally carved from solid hardwoods, the smaller macho, male, and the larger hembra, female, are connected. Each has an animal skin head. The classic wooden shells remain central to their warm and resonant tone. Bongos emerged in the 19th century eastern Cuba, where African rhythmic traditions blended with Spanish musical forms. They provide the fast, improvised patterns known as martillo, the hammer, which drive the music forward with relentless energy. Beyond dance music, bongos carry social and cultural meaning. In the mid-20th century, bongos enjoyed global recognition. Later, Latin jazz became a staple in world percussion, helping bongos remain prized for their organic tone, portability, and expressive range. Ceramic bongos are a distinctive variation of the traditional Afro-Cuban bongos, replacing the usual hardwood shells with fired clay to create a warmer, earthier, and more resonant voice. A pair of small, open-bottomed clay vessels are shaped, then covered with goatskin or other natural hides. Historically, clay drums have deep roots across Africa and the Caribbean, where pottery-based percussion predates many wooden instruments. Ceramic bongos draw on this lineage, blending Afro-Cuban bongo design with the ancient African tradition of clay-bodied drums used in ritual, dance, and communal music. Ceramic bongos are favored in acoustic, folk, and traditional ensembles, where their softer timbre complements vocals, stringed instruments, and hand percussion. Though less common in high-volume salsa or Latin jazz settings, they remain prized by artisans, folkloric musicians, and collectors for their organic sound, handcrafted beauty, and connection to ancient ceramic drum traditions. The two-sided Chinese drum, known broadly as the gu, is one of Chinese oldest instruments, appearing in ritual, military, theatrical, and folk traditions for over 4,000 years. Its basic form is a cylindrical wooden shell with two animal skin heads stretched over each end, producing a deep, commanding tone. Archaeological finds from the Shang and the Zhou dynasties show early double-headed drums used in ancestral rites, shamanic ceremonies, and royal processions, where the drum's voice symbolized authority and cosmic order. By the Han Dynasty, two-sided drums had become central to military signaling and intimidating enemies. In later centuries, The drum evolved into specialized forms, each tied to specific social functions. In Chinese opera and folk ensembles, the two-sided drum became the heartbeat of theatrical storytelling. In festivals and lion dances, it provided the rhythmic foundation that animates movement and energizes crowds. Today, they cover a wide scope, from temple rituals to modern drum troops. I picked mine up in Hong Kong at a street opera. The Cuban conga drum, more accurately called the tumbadora, is a tall, single-headed Afro-Cuban drum with deep roots in the music, dance, and spiritual traditions of enslaved Congo communities in colonial Cuba. Its earliest forms were made from hollowed wooden barrels with rawhide heads tacked or rope tensioned into place. The Congo drum's sound, earthy, resonant, and powerfully expressive, became the heartbeat of Afro-Cuban identity. In the 19th century, Congo drums carried African cosmology into the Caribbean, blending with Spanish and indigenous influences to form new musical languages. As urban Havana grew, Congo drums migrated into secular street culture, especially comparsa carnival groups, where their driving patterns energized parades and public celebrations. By the early 20th century, the Congo drum evolved into the modern conga used in son, rumba, mambo, and later salsa, defining Cuban percussion. Today, the conga drum remains a living link between Congo heritage, Cuban cultural history, and the worldwide language of Latin percussion. I found this one in a thrift store and rebuilt it. The Irish bodhrán has become the rhythmic heartbeat of Irish traditional music, yet its roots reach far deeper into rural community life. It's played with either the bare hand or a tipper, a small double-ended beater. Its tone ranges from deep, pulsing bass to sharp, articulate clicks controlled by the player's inside hand pressing on the skin. The bodhrán likely evolved from ancient Celtic frame drums. For centuries it appeared in seasonal rituals, especially during Wren Day, when masked wren boys paraded through villages with drums, dancing and singing. The bodhrán's transformation into a modern musical instrument began in the mid-20th century, when it was brought into the forefront of Irish traditional ensembles. Its rhythmic patterns became essential to jigs, reels, hornpipes, and airs, providing a dynamic pulse that could be subtle or driving. Today, the bodhrán stands as an Irish cultural symbol, blending ancient ritual origins with contemporary virtuosity. The frame drum consists of a simple shallow wooden hoop holding a single animal skin head. Found across many countries worldwide, it appeared in ancient art from Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, and Israel, where it was often played by women in ritual procession and celebration. It's remarkably versatile as a rhythmic, melodic, and even spiritual instrument. In the ancient Near East, it accompanied temple and fertility rituals. In the Mediterranean, it evolved into the Greek tampanon and Roman tampanum used in worship. Across the Islamic world, frame drums such as the daf became central to weddings, ceremonies, and classical music. With deep bass tones from the center, sharp slaps at the rim, and subtle shimmering finger rolls, it offers an expressive range. Across centuries, Its portability and adaptability made it a companion for storytellers, dancers, mystics, and folk musicians. Today, the frame drum remains a foundational instrument in global percussion, bridging ancient ritual origins with modern world music. The Hebrew Toph of ancient Israel is culturally significant in the biblical world. Closely associated with women and ritual celebration, archaeological evidence and biblical texts show the Toph as a single-headed frame drum with an animal skin membrane stretched across it, without jingles, unlike the later Roman period tambourine. The Toph appears prominently in Exodus 15, where Miriam the prophetess led the Israelite women in song, dance, and drumming after crossing the Red Sea. This passage, along with others in Judges, 1 Samuel, and Jeremiah, indicates a long tradition of victory songs and ritual dances using the Toph. Terracotta figurines from Iron Age Israel and Phoenicia show the Toph was widely used. In essence, the Hebrew Toph is both a musical instrument and a cultural emblem, representing the rhythmic, celebratory, and spiritual voice of ancient Israelites across history. The marching drum is a powerful double-headed percussion instrument designed for mobility, projection, and rhythmic command. Central to military, ceremonial, and parade traditions for centuries. Its origins lie in medieval and Renaissance Europe, where field drums were used. They were large, cylindrical, and loud, built with wooden shells and calfskin drumheads tightened by rope lacing. Their sharp, penetrating sound cut through battlefield noise. By the 17th through the 19th centuries, marching drums became standard in European and American armies. The snare drum, with its gut or metal wires stretched across the bottom head, evolved specifically for military use for signaling commands such as assembly, advance, or retreat. Drummers were often young boys. In the 20th century, marching drums expanded into school bands, drum corps, parades, and civic ceremonies. Today, the marching drum remains a symbol of unity that links ancient battlefield communication to contemporary musical performance and public celebration. The Middle Eastern doumbek, also called darbuka or tabla, depending on the region, is a goblet-shaped hand drum whose crisp, articulate voice has anchored Arabic, Turkish, Persian, and North African music for over 2,000 years. Its ancient origins trace back to Mesopotamia and Egypt, where goblet drums appeared in temple carvings and imagery. Traditionally made from fired clay with a goatskin head, the doumbek later evolved into metal-bodied versions, giving it the bright, cutting sound heard in modern ensembles. Its agility allows for fast, intricate patterns that drive Middle Eastern classical music, folk dance, belly dance, and Sufi rituals. It has served in celebrations, weddings, communal dances, and devotional gatherings. In many regions, it was historically played by both men and women. Today, the doumbek stands as a symbol of Middle Eastern rhythmic identity, bridging ancient traditions with contemporary world music, fusion, and global percussion performance. The tambourine is a small handheld frame drum with jingles that has traveled through thousands of years of ritual, folk, and popular music. Its basic structure, a shallow hoop fitted with a stretched membrane and rows of metal jingles or zills, offers its distinctive sparkle that blends rhythm and texture. Its origins trace back to the ancient Middle East. It was associated with worship and celebratory processions. As it spread through Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, it became a staple in folk traditions, traveling with traders, soldiers, and in religious communities. By the Renaissance and Baroque eras, the tambourine entered European court and theatrical music, becoming central to Romani, Italian, and Spanish folk styles. Its playing techniques allow for expressive rhythmic patterns ranging from delicate ornamentation to driving dance pulses. In modern times, the tambourine appears in classical orchestras, gospel, pop, rock, and world music. Prized for its ability to add brilliance and rhythmic lift, the tambourine remains a symbol of celebration, movement, and communal joy. I have made and enjoyed collecting these drums for over 60 years from all around the world. The drum, global in scope and style. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and you'll join me next time when we'll examine other interesting instruments man has created in his love of God's creation, music. Blessings to you.